Okay, time for another update video, considering it's been a bit of time since the last one, and after the update that just went out yesterday, I think I've made enough changes to warrant another one of these videos. So, the version that just went out yesterday is 0.16 beta. The last one covered 0.12, so we have four versions of changes. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to start with 0.14's changes, which is only one. It added one machine. And this machine isn't technically new, although 0.14 isn't that old, but I guess it's new if you've only been keeping up with the mod with the video logs. So I'll start with that, and then I'll cover 0.15 and 0.16, which are the larger of the two and the more important of the two, I will say. And 0.15 is only, I'm checking here, it's only been out for 10 days, and I think I said it, 0.16 went out yesterday. So right off the bat, you'll see that the machines look quite a bit different. That's a part of yesterday's update. But let me start with the auto fabricator, and I need the regular one too. Now, I am lazy, so I just made the auto fabricator have the same model. That'll get changed eventually, probably. New textures here, but again, that's part of the yesterday's update. What am I looking for? Oh, right, these. Okay, so you can just place them anywhere. Now the fabricator hasn't changed. You still have, this. You also have this slot now. So what you do now is when you click on it, the little message here, it'll tell you you can either left click to craft the item as it was before, or you can right click to encode a fabrication blueprint. You have to have one in here, obviously, otherwise it doesn't do anything. So let's see. I want to use this. So you'll see now that the recipe is encoded on the blueprint. So the auto fabricator was a requested feature, and this machine is literally just that. It's an automatic fabricator. Because of the way this works, it does not have, like, this pulls from the player's inventory, and it's more suited to, I guess, crafting many little things like the tools. Like, you can autocraft these. You can encode a blueprint for any fabrication blueprint, but I don't think you're gonna want to do this. There's no reason to mass produce like axes or brushes. I mean, I guess you could, but going back to this, you put that here, you give it energy, and anytime these are the 16 input slots, anytime this updates, it'll check. So as long as you're giving it items, it will uh, continue crafting. So what does this take? Titanium. Okay. You'll see that it's starting to craft. This is it's fully automated, so you don't have to worry about like managing this other than keeping it fed with ingredients. Now, this machine, you can feed ingredients manually, but it's like it works really well with AE2 because if you've used AE2, for those who I'm not going to explain how it works, but if you know, you know, the pattern provider, the way you can set it up to work with just one pattern provider. You don't even need an import bus or sending it out to an ender chest. You can set one of the faces to input and output and enable auto output. So right here I put rear. So just put the pattern provider here, the single, not the single, the flat variant of it. You put it there and enable blocking mode, and what that's going to do is put in the ingredients, it assembles it, and then it inserts the result back into the AE system. So you can do it with just one, using only one channel if you're playing with the channel mechanic. Also, even if you're not, it's still convenient to not have to do a bunch of cabling. So that's it for the auto fabricator. There's not much more to say to it. It's a handy machine certainly, because some of these recipes we're getting like some of these are you're gonna craft them more than once. Maybe not mass produce them, but certainly something you might like want to automate. And now that I think about it, this has three ingredients. I don't know why I did not make this an MFC recipe. Oh well. Okay. And the Fabricating JEI does have a new thing. If you see, it's just the taken from this. Now I mentioned last time that fabricating recipes were gonna have a locking mechanic or advancement discovery mechanic. That's I don't know if it was already in that version, but it's in now. And JEI will tell you. So as you can see, if there's nothing here, it means that it's not a locked recipe. Yeah, see the near rounds. Yeah, this recipe is advanced locked. You have to discover it first. And for this one, the requirement is to kill a warden. I think, is it cryo or is it? Okay, it's acid. This one is to kill a bogged, and this one is to step into another fortress. So, yeah, JEI, the locked recipes are not hidden from JEI because, the idea here isn't that, to hide it from them, is just to prevent you from crafting it before you, I guess, quote unquote, discover it. But you can see, it's not going to be hidden from JEI. So that's a plus. Let's destroy this because we're done with this. So next up, first I will say that this isn't really a content change. It's more of like a balancing pass. I adjusted some of these recipes because if you remember, the standard machine systems were obscenely expensive. If I can, I'm gonna give myself some time, like video time here. I'll put them up if I can edit them into the video. I have screenshots of the old recipes, but they were ridiculous for what they did. This one remains expensive because this is a very powerful upgrade. But these are now very cheap, and these are no longer made in the fabricator. You can just make these in the crafting table. And this is rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up until 6, which is yeah, this is more of like a mechanism type recipe, with the just keep upgrading the same upgrade until it's rank whatever. Speaking of that, circuits. Circuits now have a cheaper recipe because otherwise, I mean, I guess for a modded playthrough, this isn't really that bad. Like, you'll be swimming in resources, but in early game, you'll probably not have that many. So, the MFC, there's an MFC recipe now for the circuits and also for glow blocks. These have changed. So, I think previously you could use glowberries, glow ink sacs to make it in the crafting table. For the crafting recipe, you can only use glowstone now, and the other materials are now made in the MFC. Now, the MFC recipe is more efficient. You see, this takes okay, it's the same amount of glowstone, but you need one less dye, and it produces double the yield. So yeah, if you want these lights, definitely use the MFC. The circuit recipes are in the MFC are 2 redstone, 1 titanium nugget, and 1 of the whatever ingot the circuit is for. So gold circuits use gold, obviously, and copper and niobium. And the other change that I want to show was I showed off the axe that you can chop trees in one go. And I don't know if it's just because I forgot or I coded it in right afterwards, but the hoe now has this mechanic that if you're familiar with watering cans, you'll recognize this instantly. You can now tend to your crops with the hoe and just hold right click on a crop block. And yeah, they're teleporting right into my inventory because I have the that upgrade. So yeah, early game. I mean, this. How expensive is this diamond hoe? Well, I mean, honestly, diamonds aren't even that rare. So, if you need crops fast, this is definitely a good way to do it. Let's leave that there. And we're done with the 0.14 changes for sure this time. So now let's move on to 0.15. Biggest change by far is that we have a new weapon, the linear fusion rifle, or the Stargazer. So, and I should get some of the others because I've also changed the tracers. This gun is a charge-up weapon. It If the linear fusion rifles are from Destiny, it works pretty much the same way. You hold down the trigger, it charges up, and it shoots a pretty long-range bolt. I think it's 200, yeah, 200 blocks of range. And even though the tracer is a particle that has travel time, the bolt is hit scan, so there's no travel time. Let me show it off because I should have probably changed it like from peaceful to easy, but oh well. Let's spawn in some targets here. This deals 40, I think. 40 damage. I think I can consult the guidebook, which is another change actually. Weaker than I thought. It takes 3 to take down a golem. Then again, it does use specialist ammo, which is not common, but also nowhere near as rare as these other two. And I had mentioned the guidebook, but first let me show off the tracers. They look kind of goofy, blocky. I changed them to look a little bit better. Like, probably can't see them, but the submachine gun also now doesn't make a tracer for every particle. It's only like a 60% chance to make a particle because the SMG fires at 1200 RPM. I don't want particle spam. The shotgun is more noticeable. This one does still produce a tracer for every pellet. Let me walk sideways because that's when you can see them better. Okay, so the guidebook. Now, there was a guidebook before. It was using Patchouli. I switched from Patchouli to Guide Me, which is what AE2 uses. It's like their documentation library, but they it has a public API and any mod can use it. So I did. I find it easier to work with. So you can see that the categories are here now. We have the getting started, the fundamentals. The getting started tells you like the energy stuff. It just telling you that this mod uses Fe, Ce, Rf, whatever. The titanium and niobium info that you need to know. Fundamentals is things that you should be aware of so that you're not caught by surprise. Damage modifiers being a big one because if you might think, okay, this SMG deals 3 damage always. Well, no, it does not. You can see here high threat mobs and medium threat mobs have penalties or boosts in some cases like the rocket launcher. So yeah, don't use the SMG for bosses. I've said that before, but it bears repeating. Now the rocket launcher, I did give it a 2 times, like a double booster, because the rocket, I mean, I guess it still has a bit of an identity crisis that I don't know, like what I wanted it for. So I just gave it this. If it kills the warden in 4 rockets, so I think of all of my mods weapons, it's the ones that uses the least amount of shot. I was gonna say the Nova handgun uses less, but that's only with an upgrade that's not craftable in survival, so I'm just not even gonna mention that. Mob effects have a new page. I think this stuff was already detailed in the previous guidebook, but yeah, it's here. Oh, good thing I opened this. Neurosuppressed is a new like thing. The what it does now is it still has like the damage reduction, but any any mobs affected by neurosuppressed, you included, even though nothing right now in the game applies neurosuppressed. Oh, actually, I forgot about PvP, but PvP is disabled by default. It prevents any mobs that are affected by neurosuppressed from applying mob effects to other things like their targeting. And the simplest example I can think of is the warden. When if you shoot the warden with a neuro grenade, it cannot put the darkness effect on you. Witches, if they throw potions at you, they're not gonna work at all. So definitely, this is already, if you thought this already made the warden weak, well, it's even weaker now. But then again, you do have to kill it once to get the neuro grenades. So I think it's a fair trade-off. The upgrade system, I think this was not explained, was it? No, I don't think this was explained at all in the last guidebook, or if it was, it certainly wasn't explained to this detail. This does tell you, in the upgrade modules what this does for equipment that you need to table. Enchantments, this, okay, this is a new machine, I'll cover it in a bit. Tools is under construction, turrets, weapons. All right, weapons. Weapons, nothing's changed other than they have stats now. You can. That's what I was gonna check. The daybreak. No, not the daybreak. Stargazer. Yeah, here we go. So the Stargazer has a base damage of 45. There's no damage modifiers for it currently. It'll probably stay that way. I think this is fine. Has a range of 200, which is absolutely insane. But this is a sniper, so that's fair. Charge time of half a second. After you fire it, the trigger takes a quarter of a second to reset. You cannot start charging before this. And reload speed. And the Hanabi has the stats for each of its shells. So you can see here the blast radius, the base damage, this, the flames, like what it creates, cryo, if it applies an effect. And it links to that page too, if you click on that. Right, so I think I did a good work transferring everything over. So let's close this up. And the Aurora has a new, not a new, it got a fire rate buff. Okay, this is a big one. I don't know when I added this, but yeah, this is a pretty big one. So machinery, let me pull up a machine. I don't think the ESAs have it, but let's pull up the digital furnace. So a new model, which I'm just about to get into. Here on the lower left, they now have a little stats widget, and every machine, not every machine, but every machine that has something that's relevant in like any relevant information that's not, given by the energy bar or anything else is going to have them here. And you can see here that the digital furnace, these stats, oh, I already knew them, but like it's good that you see them here. It takes 160 ticks to smelt something, and it uses 60 CE per tick. The turret, I think the turret does have him too. Let me check. Okay, it does. This one only has energy use, and it uses 10k CE per every target lock on. And I think I already mentioned this that the turrets use um, energy when they acquire a target, not when they fire. So if they do acquire a target and the target dies, that it's considered lost, but energy's not really that big of a deal. So ammo items have gotten a retexture, and I've also removed rockets, as you can see. This is how it was back in the earlier versions. I I don't know why I added rockets in the first place. I guess I wanted to differentiate, but it's just gonna add more bloat, and I think I prefer this. This is more of like this is called automatics for now, but this is going away in the near future. This is gonna be called lightweight ammo canister or something. But you can kind of see the idea. It's gonna be lightweight, specialist explosives, and heavy. This is no longer called a magnum ammo canister. This is just called heavy ammo. Um, don't worry about like if you have an old save, it auto converts the magnum ammo to this heavy, and any rockets are converted back to explosives. So there's that. And now let's get into the new machines. I added some important quality of life upgrades, I would say. There's three new machines apart from the auto fabricator, which I already covered. We have the digital smoker, digital blast furnace, and the molecular reconstructor. And in fact, I should pull all of the machines because they've all gotten all of the general processing machines, or GPMs as I call it, they've gotten a remodel. More of a retexture, I should say, but yeah. So this is the digital furnace. This is the smoker, blast furnace, grinder, recomposer, material fusion chamber. They also the grinder and the MFC have animated front face textures. I don't know if before they did. I don't think any of them did, but and this is a molecular reconstructor. I'll place them down for now. Get one of these. So these two, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but I thought, okay, we have a digital furnace. Why not have a smoker and a blast furnace? Digital versions of them, I should say. So the furnace takes 160 ticks and 60 C per tick at base values. The smoker and the blast furnace take only 100 ticks. The smoker uses 20 CE per tick, and the blast furnace uses 30. So yeah, it's not half like the vanilla would be, but this is already faster. Actually, it's not. This is equal to vanilla, but the real the ticks per operation doesn't really matter here, and that's because of the UMS upgrade module, which makes everything instant. So when everything's instant, it doesn't matter what the base ticks per operation are. Well, it matters a bit for early game, but you get the idea. Like what's important here is the energy use, because energy use is what really gets punishing as you scale up in the upgrade tree. And let me show you what I mean here. If you let me get these. Oh yeah, and they have a new upgrade sound when you install and when you remove. Oh, and while I'm at it, I can show the new quality of life upgrade, which is if you for machines only, because with equipment it's kind of pointless. But with machine upgrades, you can now shift right click the upgrade module onto the machine, and it'll install it. So there's if you have something that you want to get installed quick, you don't need to open it up and go into the upgrades screen. You can just do it from in world, right? So with R6 standard machine systems, you can see this takes 23 ticks and uses 683. Not a lot, or maybe it is. Depends. I don't know about the pack you're playing. These two it take 14 because they have the same like processing time, remember. But the smoker only uses 228, and it's faster than this. And the blast furnace uses 342. So it's 1/3 and a half, respectively. And the difference is even higher with the UMS. That's okay. We have 15.36 thousand. That's pretty steep, but again, instant crafting. However, this one is only 5,000, and this one is 7.6 thousand. So, and especially, you might not use the smoker a lot, but I still added it just, in case there's a mod that decides to be quirky and add a smoking only recipe. You're covered with this machine. Or if, I guess, you like cooking food and you don't have like any like beacons that give you saturation or whatever, this, if nothing else, you do get quite a bit of energy discount, even though the with the UMS upgrade, the ticks per operation is the same. Where it shines, it processes pebbles. Here we go. You can process ore pebbles, all of them, with the blast furnace. So if early game you're you have an ore processing line and you're strapped for energy, it's a good idea to invest in one of these because you'll be able to run it cheaper than the regular digital furnace. And I'll show the animations for these. Not animations, like the textures when they're enabled. This head just glows blue. And why are they okay? I forgot I had given them this upgrade. It just kind of spooked me there for a second. I think leaves work, probably. Okay, so start smelting this, start smoking this, grinding this, and yeah, this is slightly animated. Uh, right. And this is also slightly animated. Now these textures are emissive. Um, this room is completely lit up, but it's more noticeable if you turn shaders on. Jeez, that looks horrible, but let me break this because okay, yeah, you can see more clearly the glowing bits of the texture are emissive. This isn't exclusive to shader, it just stands out more. Like if I turn it on, you can see that they glow. The only thing left to cover would be the quality of life thing, which I already showed that you can install the upgrades, on the machines. Or if you've been playing with the mod, you'll know that it might be annoying that you have to take out, like when you want to upgrade ranks, you have to take out rank 1 or then put in rank 2. You no longer have to do that. You can just, let's say I install rank 1 and I have a rank 3 module, let's say, and I can just shift click and it quick swaps and rank 6. There you go. Okay, another change that I'm going to cover is again with the weapons. So let's get the shield. I finally updated their arm poses and their handedness. This was something that I had on the back burner for quite a bit of time now. If I put a shield in my offhand, you'll see that the shotgun, I have it in held in a neutral position. That's because a shotgun is considered a two-handed weapon. All of them actually are two-handed weapons with the exception of the SMG. What that means is that you cannot shoot it. If you have anything in your offhand, you won't be able to shoot the shotgun or any of the other weapons except the SMG. Now, if I switch to the SMG, you'll see that I, the character is aiming the weapon. And if I start shielding up, you can see we have a unique little pose here where you hold the shield and, not perfect, but you get the idea. It's supposed to be peeking over the shield. So that's it for that. So I guess we'll take this part of of the devlog to talk about like future like features that I have maybe not planned, but I'm considering. So machinery wise, I think I'm mostly done. I can't think of anything here for the crafting machines, I should say. The production machines are a different story. This is technically the first production machine ever. I did not even cover this. Okay, so, ADHD sucks. Don't get it. But the molecular reconstructor is a repair station. That's all it is, just a fancy name for it. Let's take a nearly broken pickaxe. Yeah, you can see the ticks per operation here. It takes 20 ticks to do a repair tick, and it uses 116 C per tick. Yeah, it's very slow. You're definitely not gonna want to put in like a netherite pickaxe with one durability here. You're gonna be waiting an hour to get it repaired. Let me turn that on just so you can see every time the progress bar fills up, you get 1 point of durability. So yeah, I guess if you really don't want to use mending, there's this. I don't know why you would. Maybe an infinity ball. I say that when my mod adds literal overpowered guns, why would you be bothering with an infinity bow? Now for sure I covered everything. Now I can talk about like future planned features. Multi-blocks. Multi-blocks is a tough one because I had in a very old alpha build for 1.20, I had actually gotten multi-blocks working. I say working in air quotes because they were very janky. I don't even know if they truly properly worked. To me, they did, and the structured templates and all that were working. And I should clarify before this gets misinterpreted. When I say 1.20 alpha builds, these are like a year and a half old before I even started. There was like one machine in the game. My position hasn't changed. Like 1.20 is never gonna happen now, but just getting that out of the way. The multi-block machine code, it's right now in the code base for a couple of versions now, for a while now actually, since probably the last devlog. It's just there. I want like part of me wants to do something with it because what I want to add next is like a void ore miner and a void resource miner. Yay, me ripping off every popular tech mod from 1.12. But yeah, I want to add those machines, but I think it would feel very wrong. Like if you know the environmental tech machines, they were massive, like the tier 6 or tier 7 void ore miners. There are these massive like constructs and yeah, like for example, right now the biggest multi-block, if you can even call it that, would be these double block machines along with the turrets. I think that having something along the lines of a void ore miner then could produce as much as the environmental tech can, stuffed into a tiny two block machine would be. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but some people complain about magic boxes or magic double boxes in this case. So, I'll have to see if I can get multi blocks working properly, hopefully. If not, well, I'll probably still add, if not multi-blocks, like an immersive engineering style, I'll probably add a mechanism style. What I mean by that is like the digital miner. They're like one piece multi-blocks. You place them down, and it places down the whole thing like these, like doors. So that's gonna be on the back burner for now. Guns. I I see guns is one of those that I really want to add more. I just like right on the back burner. I have four. There's four that I have right now already like conceptualized, and in the case of one, already a model that I had made like months ago. But modeling art is modeling and art is the the bottleneck in my mod. It's not something that comes naturally to me. You might think this looks very cool, and I think it does. You don't want to know how many times I Alt F4'd and deleted it because I thought it looked like absolute in Blockbench. The Hanami bottle. I like the way this looks, but it's clearly showing its age a little bit, along with the Daybreak. I think these were along the first models that I made. I redesigned the Serenity. It used to look pretty terrible. The four guns I want to add are an AR, a machine gun, a belt-fed machine gun, LMG. The third one's a rotary autocannon. The fourth one is it's gonna use the gun like interface, like the controls and all that. It's not really gonna be a gun. It's gonna be like a flare gun. It shoots glow sticks that become blocks when they hit something. It's basically a torch launcher, a sci-fi torch launcher. Yeah, if I can get the models up for those, I'll add them in as I go. Other than that, the guns are pretty set in stone. Kind of funny because I'm trying like there's a lot of ideas that I'm having, but I'm putting like a stop to myself and a focus. And you don't want this mod to die to feature creep. Right now, everything's mostly fleshed out. I don't want to start adding bits and pieces there that just get abandoned over time. I think that's it. I mean, if you have any suggestions, that's leave them in the comments because I think if I have like goals to look for, like not to look forward to, like that I can use as reference. Is there a bug that I missed? Is there a feature that you might want, like within reason, obviously? But yeah, go ahead and leave that in the comments. Just please don't ask for a 1.20 or fabric for it, or do, but that's just gonna get ignored. But other than that, that's it for now.